Okay. So this is Autodesk Maya, and yeah, we're gonna do the same snowman scene we did in Houdini, but do it in this program. Okay. So navigation. Navigation works the same way as a Houdini. You hold down Alt, middle mouse button to rotate. Alt left mouse button, sorry, to rotate. Alt middle mouse button to pan. And Alt right mouse button to zoom. When you zoom, do left to right. Alt left to right. Don't do this up and down. Just do left to right. Trust me, it makes a difference. Okay. So we have a menu up here. In Houdini, we had the same primitives over here, but this has some extra stuff. One thing that's very important is do not use this over here. If you have any shape that's like blue, like this sphere right here, this cube, these are called NURB shapes. We're not going to be using any of these, right? So what they're called is curved surfaces, and this is a shortcut menu right here. Everything is actually right here, right? But remember, NURBS primitives do not use. You want to use the orange ones right here. This is what you want to use, right? Yeah, so we have navigation, we have the shapes. So let's create a shape, and there's 3 ways to create a shape. There's like a saying, I think it's like there's like 5 ways to do everything in Maya, or 3 ways. I think it's 3. So the first way we can do, if we want to make a sphere, we'll click on this icon right here. And it puts a sphere in the middle of the world. Now Houdini had like the nodes, and you click on the nodes and then you get to the parameters, right? So instead of having a node that says sphere on it, what we have is we have it in this list right here. Right? So this list is called an outliner. And if we want to minimize the outliner, we just click on it, and we can click on it again to bring it back, right? Now let's look at this sphere. So I'm zooming in, I'm alt right clicking, I'm alt middle mouse button clicking, I'm alt left mouse clicking. So here we go. So I don't know how to relate this to Houdini. It's kind of similar, right? We have translate. Remember, it's always X, Y, and Z. But this has no containers. So what you see is what you get right here. So this is like basically, instead of having a node that you dive into, this is like the inside of the node already here in this list. But then we can make groups, which I will do in a moment. Now, how do I move this object, right? How we moved it in Houdini, we can, we're moving it with the ladder, like right here. You can kind of do something similar to that. So right now I'm holding down control and I'm doing this, but we don't have to do that. That's just the way to do it. I don't know if it's command or control or whatever it is on the Mac, but we'll do it with these shortcut keys. So we have W, which is move. And what you see is you have the arrow, right? So if I put my mouse over one of these arrows, it lights up, right? So if I have it on this one, it lights up. I have it on this one, how it's like lit up or highlighted, I should say. And then this one. Now the same rules apply about the 3D world, right? Remember I was saying there's X, Y, and Z? See on the, wait, I think it was Cinema 4D, I think it was up here, whoever's in the other class I'm teaching. And then there's, on Maya, it's like, you know, in Houdini, it's down here. So same thing. When you move around, the snowman shows you your position in the world. So if I move this way, X and X because remember, X, Y, and Z, never forget that. Oh yeah, and just by the way, that's called a vector. When you have three numbers with three different positions, it's called a vector. So yeah, it's going positive, and then if I go this way, it's going negative. And of course, if I wanted to, I could type in a number, 5 right there, -5. But we're just going to be some artists and we're just going to move it, Only reason, well, you might get in a situation where you need to type it in, but not for this. All right. So I'm pressing Control Z to go backwards. And we also have this forward arrow right here. I'll use this forward arrow, but I'll never use this back one. But if you want to like go forward and backwards with the shortcuts, it's what is it? Undo is Control Z and redo is Control Y. And also we have these little boxes where you can click on this and we'll have the box and it's like a floating menu. And we can just, use this to do whatever, right? So if I want to delete it, I can delete it. I've never clicked on delete. I'll usually just do backspace, right? So W is move. E is rotate, right? And rotate does work the same way. Oh, actually, to go back to W, I want to explain this too. When you're moving in this 3D space right here, you want to just grab the arrow and move it, right? You do not want to grab this middle part of the box because this does what like Houdini does in the beginning where I was telling you just press Control click to be in the center of the world. It'll place it wherever it wants to go. So let's say I want to put it over here in this corner. Some of you all, just because you're starting, you'll go like this. And you'll say, yeah, the ball is on the edge of the corner. It's there. Nope, it's not there, right? Because what you're doing with this is you're moving in all three axes at once, and it's just inaccurate to try to place things. So if I say, all right, I want it back in the middle or as close in the middle as I think it's going to be. And right now you think it's perfect, but it's not. So when you move with the arrows, you can find where you're at. So in Houdini, I was doing like Spacebar 2, 3, 4, I think to get top, bottom, left, right. Oh no, I didn't show you all that. I'm sorry, other class. There's a 4-way view, right? We can use to view our world, right? So right now I'm looking at it and this is the perspective. So if I press spacebar, it goes into this, what you call an orthographic view. So this right here is the side X, right? So it means it's looking at it like this. The only thing is it's looking at it like from a fixed camera directly like this. So if I move up, you can see it moves up. I move left. Oh, it's the other way. Move left, right. And if you press spacebar, you can enlarge this window. Now with this window right here, you can grab it in the middle and move because it's in a 2D representation. So it's not like doing that third dimension that's gonna have us all mixed up. So if I put it right here, a little bit to the left of the center line and press spacebar, it's actually on that line, right? Because in this view, we're only moving in 2 axes, this way and this way. But if I try to do it in this one, and I say, hey, I'm over here, then I'm inaccurate. So any of these views, you want to press spacebar, it'll enlarge the view, and press spacebar, it'll get out. It just has to be in the window. You see this little gray kind of outline? That means that we're in the window. So I'm clicking on this, press spacebar, go in and out. Also, additionally, we can go over here and click on this four-way view to get it back, and we can click on this to get our perspective. So remember, there's perspective. I call it four-way view or orthographic. But yeah, that's what it is. Okay. So the first way I showed you how to make a sphere is clicking on the shelf. Boom, it's right there. So that's one way to make the sphere. The second way to make the sphere is to go click on Create, Polygon Primitives, click on Sphere. And now we have our sphere. All right. See a transform, our numbers moving and all that stuff, right? Now there's a third way to click on the sphere. To access the sphere. And that's by holding down Spacebar and then going to Create, going to Polygon Primitives, and then Sphere. Now there's something special about this menu right here. If you look at it, it says File, Edit, Create, Select, Modify, Display, Windows, yada, yada, Help. So look at this, File, Edit, Create, Select, Modify, Windows. And then it skips to Arnold, right? Now, why does it skip to Arnold, right? Because these right here where it says Mesh, Edit Mesh, Mesh Tools, these are specific to modeling, right? Right here, this is poly modeling. So if I click on, there's some tools that we'll get into later, but basically these are context right here. There's rigging, there's animation. And so all of these right here have a whole lot of tools in them. We're just gonna keep it on modeling right now. But if I press Spacebar, we have all the modeling tools, Edit Mesh, Mesh Tools. And if I was to change this to rigging, just so you can see, it says skeleton, skin, deform, constrain. So if I press like this, skeleton, skin, deform, constrain. So basically this right here is this, but it has all of them. So without changing these, this has everything in it. So basically this menu that you can change is all laid out flat right here. And this always stays the same. But okay. Let's go back to modeling. So I'm gonna just delete this again, and I'm gonna make myself a sphere. So I'll click on the sphere. It's in there. Like I was saying before, these are our tools. So we have W, which is move, E, now, which is rotate, right? And rotate, we can just grab on one of these bands and rotate it. And it works the same way. So we can see like little spiral, how it's like that right now. If I want to get it 90 degrees, I can just turn it 90 degrees and type in 90 degrees. And then there's another way I can do it where I hold down, I think it's J, and it'll rotate in increments. So it's going in, how many degrees? 15-degree increments. Okay, cool. And then now I have, yeah, so that's rotate. So just rotating. If you want a random rotation, you could just grab it right here and it'll do all the axes. But this messes things up, unless you just want something random, never do that. Always grab the band. And I'm pressing Control Z to go backwards. Control Z. Our last tool is R, which is scale, right? So scale, it has a uniform scale. If I touch this box in the middle and scale up and scale down, I'm getting uniform scale. If I grab one of these boxes right here and I scale out, I'm getting scale on one of the axes. I just went backwards, which isn't good. Certain programs won't allow you to go backwards and certain ones will, but also there's like limits to it. So right now, if I go like this and I'm backwards, it's gonna mess you up later on if you do that. So you just gotta be careful. But if you don't want to, if you want to make sure you'll never do that, you just got to click on this right here. So what this is if if I type in W, if you look at this right here, this is a move tool, and it says move tool, W. Move selected objects component by dragging the transform manipulator. This one is rotate. Rotate selected objects by dragging the transform manipulator. And then there's scale. Oh, I'm just hovering my mouse over it, scale tool, dragging the scale manipulator. I guess it's got a little movie. You know what? I'm curious. Okay, so you got some help right here. And I guess it's got like a few different movies to help you all out, which wasn't there before. Okay, cool. So we have that. Now, before I was talking about the, well, I think I was, maybe segments of object. So this first one just showing you the position of the object. Second one, not thinking about. Third one, we have these controls right here. So here's the radius. So the scale right here, like in Houdini, when I was doing the ladder and grabbing this and moving these, and all of these are moving at the same time, this would be the same thing. So if I type in, it's 0.94 right now. If I type in 2, 2, 2, it's doing that, right? But also if I go to polysphere and I go to this radius, I can scale it up like this. Also something to note, if you click behind the number and you hold down control and your middle mouse button, you can kind of like just control this by using your middle mouse button. And sometimes I can give you a little bit more of a controllable way to scale some of these parameters, because right now if I go like this, it's kind of fast. So this kind of makes it a little bit more sensitive, I guess. But you can also just, you know, type in the number as well. And then we also have something called subdivision axes. So the more I move this, the more divisions it has. So it's like choppy. You know, this is my sphere now, and then add on more divisions, the rounder it gets. You don't need to go too much, you know, too round on this. And then subdivision height. So we're adding on segments. Okay. The rest of these, don't worry about them. This is a little shader thing, but don't worry about this because we're going to go into this later. But for whatever reason you want to change it, it'll change all of this is like the default shader. So anything that comes into here, any object we create will have this color, which isn't exactly what we want. We just want to keep it neutral, and we'll get into like shading stuff later on. But if you want to, if I make this right here and I make myself a cube, now I'm pressing W, it comes out green too. So there's a way we can do it individually. But like I said, if you want to ask me that question later, I can answer. But for right now, we'll just keep it to like, I guess the default gray color. There's no right click choosing the default either. So that's something it doesn't have. Okay. So our tools, W-E-R. W-E-R. Don't click it over here and say, oh, I want to move it. I want to click it over here. Nah, just type in W. If I want to rotate it, don't go over here and say, I want to click on rotate. Click on E. If I want to scale it, don't click over here. Just type in R. Oh, when it came to that negative scale, this is what I meant to do. If you double click on this, it gives you the tool settings. And I'll just go over to, oh, look, prevent negative scale. Oh, I thought it would have just stopped it in its tracks, but maybe it did. But you know what, don't worry about this now. I'll look at that later. But for now, let's make ourselves a snowman, all right? So let's make it. I'm gonna press, I'm gonna make my sphere a different way, remember? I'm gonna press spacebar, create, polygon primitives, and I'm gonna click on sphere. So here's my first sphere. I'm gonna make it a little bit larger, so drag it up. And I'm gonna press W to scale. I mean to translate, which means move. And I'll just put it right here. Now, if I want to be super accurate, I'll press Spacebar and I'll go into this mode right here. And I can zoom in. And it's important to zoom in by holding Alt and right click and zooming in. Do not do this thing with the wheel. I'll know you're doing it. So don't do it now. I mean, all right. So we have this and we have this first sphere. Now let's make a second one, right? So I can click here and make another sphere and drag it up and then scale. And that'd be perfectly fine. No one would know I did it, all right? But we could also do it a different way. Since I like the size of this the sphere right here, let's do it a different way. Let's do Control D. That's how we're gonna duplicate it. And if it's too loud, let me know. It's like, I don't know if like, I mean, the wind outside isn't bothering me, but if it's bothering you all, let me know. It's distracting. I can close my window. I just don't know what it sounds like on your side. Anyway, so let me just do that again. So I said all that. Control D to duplicate. I'll move it up. And I'll press R to scale. Scale it a little bit. Press W. And I put it right down here. Cool. Okay, thank you. All right, now let me do another Control D. Drag it up. Press R to scale. Scale it down. W. Here we go. All right. So we got our snowman, right? No nodes, no none of that stuff, right? I mean, the nodes are cool, but you know, this might be better, easier introduction to 3D. So I have my three things, my three spheres. Now it's time to get that nose going, right? There is no orientation, like it comes in and it's like, all right, we're gonna put it on the x-axis. You know, it just comes in like this. Now, if I want to change the way this looks, I can go over here and spread out the radius. And remember, if this thing is going too wild, you can hold down Control and click behind the number. I mean, Control on a PC, Command or whatever the other button is. Oh, what was it? What is it?
Control.
Oh, it is Control? Oh, okay.
A command or control.
Yeah, Command or Control. Oh, trust me, I'm gonna get confused with that. So thank you. And please just jump out there and interrupt and correct me with the correct Mac lingo. Okay. So now I'm so yeah, it won't let me go backwards. Anyway, so I have this right here. So I can say, all right, I like this nose. Now check this out, right? I want to put it over there and I want to change it. I want to make it 90 degrees. So I usually forget which axis is 90 degrees. So I'll either turn it like this, see which one is moving and go, oh, okay. Now, if I type in 90, right, it's going to go that way. But if I type in negative 90, it's that way. So I can do it like that. Or I can hold down the letter J for John. Didn't come through correctly. Or Joker. And then I'll just rotate it 90 degrees that way, see? Now I'll press R to scale it down. And check this out, right? We have this top part. We have this. If I wanted to like, you know, alter him, if he's a liar, you know, give him that long nose, I'll give him a regular nose. And we'll go like this. Put him right there. Cool. Now let's make him some eyes, right? So I'll just take a torus. Remember, I just clicked on here. Actually, Control click just by habit. Now I'll rotate this too. Oh no, but first, well, no, I think it's all right. But if we want to mess with the dimensions on it, we can go over here, same thing. We can drag this section radius, which moves the middle, I think. So now I'm holding down control doing it. So going from donut to hoop earring or hula hoop. Only two things I can think of that look like that. Yeah, so I just go like this and I'll scale this down with the R. Now I'll do E to rotate, hold down J to get that 15-degree increment. Press W, push it up here, go like this. Now I can go in here and, do it myself and scale it down. Sometimes I like to go into the four-way view. So I'm press spacebar and scrolling out, press spacebar again. Holding down Alt and middle mouse button. So I'm panning and zooming. There's no rotate going on. See, look, it won't even let me rotate. But in Cinema 4D, it rotates, which I think is ridiculous. But anyway, we'll go like this and I'll press scale, do like that. Okay, spacebar, spacebar, there we go. Now I want to duplicate this, right? So usually I'd ask, I say, hey, how do I duplicate? But for the sake of time, I'll just do it like this. So I'll do Control D, move it over here. Oh, spacebar, spacebar. So now we have this. If I want to be accurate, I guess I can rotate. I'll do this. I'll hold on J. So I just rotated it with 15, 30, right? And I'll do the same for this. Hold on J, 15, 30. Just to give that those eyes a little bit more pop. Now look what I did, right? I'm selecting them both at the same time. So I select one, holding down shift. I'm selecting the other one. Or control be better. Now I'll just do shift. And then I'll press W. And I'll just move it down. Cool. All right, now let's make them arm real quick, right? So we have our body right here. And you see what it did? Sphere 1, sphere 2, sphere 3. We got the cone. Eye, right? And as always, you can name it. I can name it like that, or I can name the whole thing. Name it Big Head, right? Or whatever. Or Snowhead. I should name it Snowhead. All right. So let's make ourselves an arm real quick. I'm gonna get myself a box. Ooh, take this box, have it like this. I'll press R to scale it out. All right. Make it a little bit skinnier. All right. And any other shape I didn't use yet? Let's go get cylinder, right? And cylinder has the same thing. Remember the transform, transform, and then we have our controls to scale it. So this right here, this right here. So yeah, so I'll do this. I'll press R to scale, go like this. And I'll put it right here. Perfect. Now I want some fingers, right? So what I'm gonna do is, I'm just gonna duplicate this. So Control D, go right here, press R to scale it in. Cool. I'm going like this. Go right here. Control D to duplicate it. And then I'll just E to rotate. Move it right here. And then Control D again, W. So it duplicates and puts it right over there. All right. Just move it just to give him some more action or something. I don't know. He's doing that thing y'all do with, or that Spider-Man kind of thing with your hand. Anyway, so now I have this. Now, I just want to move this and put it over here, all right? Cool. But if I decide to rotate, something weird is going to happen. And I don't like that too much, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to group this. So I have all of these selected. So I can select it here, or I can click one, hold down shift and grab the rest. And I'm going to do Control G, right? And now I'll make this arm L. And this is what it did. It put this thing called a pivot right here on the bottom. And I'll show you how to correct all that stuff later. But to get this pivot in the center, we're going to click on this button right here, which says center pivot. And I think if I go right here and modify center pivot, it's the same thing. This is just a shortcut tool. It's the one in blue with the target, so it's the one you want. So I'll click on it. And now the pivot is now in the center of this. And I have a group that I'm working with, so it all stays together. Cool. And I can scale it down too if I want. So I'll put it right here, like this. Oh, and check this out. If I just select one thing, it just selects one thing within the group. But if I want to select the whole group, I can select it right here. Or if I have one thing selected, if you press the up arrow, it'll give you the whole group. So I'll put it right here. Now I want to make that other arm. So I'm going to do a Control D to duplicate, move it over, E to rotate. Now that's there. I can rotate it, you know, have it doing whatever. Bang, right? So now we have this. Cool. So we have these two arms, right? And then this is my whole snowman. But you know what? Because I want more snowmen, I could go ahead and build another one, but that would be the more strenuous, long way to do it. So I'm going to just duplicate this guy. So I'm going to take him like this, and I'm going to do a Control G, and I'm going to name him snowman 1, right? So I have him, and I can move him right now with the group. Remember, if I click on this body, right, and I want the whole group, just click the up arrow, it gives me everything. So let's do this. I'm gonna put him right here. I'm gonna give him some homies to party with, right? So I'm gonna do Control D. So there's snowman 2, right? Press W, bang, there you go right there. All right. And then I could also go inside of him, and if I wanted to, go get the arm and do something with this. W. Down. Choose the other arm and make him do something else, right? Ooh, so that's snowman 2. So I could do Control D. Another guy, right? He's in on it too, all right? Cool, so we got these guys right now. And I can do something like, let's say like this, and put a floor, right? Well, a grid. Same thing, here's a transform, here's this, and I can go with, and I can do like this too. Or I could just press R to scale and scale it up. Right. So we could say, all right, you know, what are they doing? Let's say they're at a bus stop, right? So I have this right here, Control D. I have this other one. Cool, right? You know what? I'm gonna select both of these. Now I'm gonna duplicate these at the same time. Control D. So now I have 2 copies. All right. I'm gonna grab myself another box. Pull this up. Cool, right? So now I have a bus stop. If I want to be real fancy, I could do this, Control D, E, ooh, J, Oh yeah, I see the time. Yeah. Ah. Now I got like a little, I don't know, barrier thing. Cool. Right. So now we have a little bus stop, and what are they doing? Let's say they're doing something they shouldn't be doing. All right. So right now, you know what they're doing? They're gambling. Shouldn't be doing that. They're snowmen. You can't tell them nothing, right? So here we go. That's all you got to do.